Hello, Zeospantera, Z Reviews, Inner Fetish, and all the other channels linked in the description. These are gorgeous. Oh God. When you see the SJY, when you see the progression from his first headphone with the little windows and the square wood, and then like the headband that was like the worst, I just wanted to flow off your head, and I kind of respect the 3D printed colored blocks, but to come to this with the custom pads, custom soft stuffed pads. We're gonna talk about comfort also with this headphone, and then the headband, and then look at the rods, and these are metal, and it's like and then you plug them in specifically to the Questel at CMA15, and you start picking music out from your list that you listen to all the time, and you're like, no, this is a sound demo track now. This is a sound demo track now. What was the last one I just picked? Hold on, no, not Pagani. Oh, did I lose it? Oh, I just added it to my sound demo list. Anyway, we've come a long way. Here are some other SJY headphones that you can buy. I think, are you the Starry Night? No, wait, there's a freaking dragon on this one. Okay, so when we look at the progression of headphones from a certain company, like you have to go like, all right, ZMF, Dan Clark Audio, you see the going up. And I don't think any of them had ever accelerated the process of improvement more than SJY Audio has. And we're sitting here with the newest and latest revision, and it's September, and he's going to be launching it September. So he's like, can you get the video out in September? I'm like, fine, I'll listen to your amazing headphones, whatever. I will say that they're at this is as small as you can make them, and they fit me pretty good like this. So if you have a really tiny head and you usually have to put the headphones all the way up, you might have an issue. Then again, since it's a person doing it, you might even be able to get him to adjust that for you. Or if you're DMS with your ears, like you have gill ears, then you could absolutely get them to fit down there. But look at, we'll do the looks first. Looks first. Okay, so stabilized wood. Yes. And I don't mean any offense to Zach at ZMF, but this is nicer wood with a nicer, smoother finish than most of the wood I've ever seen on a ZMF headphone. And then the back pattern here, I actually requested this. He had like big swaths, and it was kind of weird. And I'm like, just make it really small. Just make it really small and like a repeating pattern, and it'll look so much better. And he did it. It's weird when because he sends me the things to test, and he's like, hey, what do you think about this? Or about the comfort? And I'm like, this pattern on the back, make it this. And he did it, and it's fucking gorgeous. This is all metal. This is metal. You've got the leather comfort strap, which is real thick. Unless it's vinyl. Hold on. No, that's leather. I smell cow. It doesn't smell like beef. Do you remember that one headphone I reviewed years ago? And I took out the leather, and it smelled like literally beef jerky, because they obviously scented it to smell like cow smell, and it was like they went with the food one by accident. But you got the stitching on the top, and then the pads. All right, let's just get right to the pads. Here's the wire, by the way, the stock wire, because I got them from him, and I'm like, who makes these pads? He's like, oh, I had those custom made. And I have a very, very specific, I usually like a memory foam, like a little bit denser, but if you have a certain clamp, to really feel comfortable, I don't want a pad that just like sits on my ear and doesn't do anything. I want a pad that sort of squishes. You either have to squish and coddle my head like I'm between some giant titties, or you have to just be like a perfect ergonomic pad. And this is the first option, because these are like, it's like when you set like a cake or Jell-O and it isn't quite done and it sort of jiggles. That's what these feel like. They feel so soft. And it's just, this isn't leather, because leather can't get this soft. Whatever the protein leather or the faux leather is just. So, put them on the head. The clamp is, it's a little bit tight. Here's the thing: the clamp's it's not like going to go whoop. It's not going to float out open. He came off of these old old headbands that did that thing where they had like the metal rods that rode up and down, and you could see them under here. So it was like, yeah, that was the ones he was buying, and it was like, it worked, but I didn't like it. So moving on back to a custom one, like the old days, but having it be this nice, and then you get like the clamp. So I could legitimately do the thing Well, it's kind of hard to do. I'd have to disconnect one side to do a stretch. But so, oh, they're starting to flop around. They're a little bit of a tight fit, but the pads are so soft, you actually get to take advantage of the pads. I'll even remove a pad for you guys. Look at that planar. Moonlight version 1, all rights reserved. So just PCB prints and cuts to your planar driver out the back with all your dampening. You could just, it's wild because you can look in here and there's nothing around, but there's just a hole. You could tell he's tuned by putting just a hole to the other end of the driver. And it looks like it's 3.5 inches down because it's a perfect mirror and it reflects the grill on the surface of this. So it looks like there's some sort of optical illusion of where the sound is coming from. I also told him he needs to sell these pads separately so I can go on his site and buy them. All put together with little hex screws. It's very clean, very neat. This is Synther printed. It was printed with like the laser and then hardened so it's not gonna fuck it up. Put these pads back on. I haven't done any pad swapping because if a headphone doesn't need pad swapping, I will avoid the 6-hour trial and error. But I think he figured out his sound, so we're not going to worry about that too much. So comfort. I'll give it one last burst for comfort. If you like to wear headphones and feel like you're wearing them, but they're just like the softest like squeeze, like those old Sony 1000s with that pad that Shinobu's on, like those big fucking monster soft pads that just like melt on your head. That's what this feels like when you're wearing them. So don't go jogging with them. Now let's talk about the sound. Let's talk about the wire for a second, then we'll talk about the sound. See us, fix your goddamn timestamps. Timestamps, by the way. Also, thank you to my patrons and subscribers for supporting me. Always. I'm just going to have to keep giving you guys like the handies under the table every video. It comes with, I think you can order it with a balance connector. He gave it to me with a 3.5. Because he just had one lying around and I'm like, cool. Because I don't think I've had it for the other reviews of these. He assumed I had one and I actually lost it. So what it is a 4-wire, but it is a 2-wire twisted to 2-wire twists. So it's actually quite a knobby feel and it's a little bit rubbery, but not in a bad way. It feels like it's waterproof, like you can go swimming in the ocean with this and be fine. Into a very nice split, into just a 2-wire twist individually with a little plastic slider up and down that's so smooth. Like it's like a silicone rubber. It's so smooth. And then, of course, I love the red and blue heat shrink that acts as strain relief into the 3.5 millimeter because he's learned his lesson from his first set that used mini XLR because no headphone fucking needs that. I hate when high-end headphones decide to be just like, oh, we're going to use mini XLRs or Sennheiser with their stupid HC800s. And it's like, no, we will use this connector because it is the best. I am German. And I'm like, no, motherfucker. 3.5 millimeter is all you need unless you have a very small headphone. You got to go 2.5 or something else, but mostly it should just be 3.5. So since it's a 3.5, I swapped the wire out. This is going to be an upcoming collaboration cable with me and Tripowin. They sent me some color samples. This is a red. I have a blue and a green. And I asked them, can you do red and blue and the same and then have it split off? And they're like, yeah. So we'll see how that comes out. But I just needed a balanced cable because I didn't want to use 3.5 specifically for, not just because like, oh, I have a bunch of balanced amplifiers, because these need power. We should talk about power. Again, we're going to talk about sound. Talk about if it's worth it. We talk about, what else was I going to talk about? I had thoughts in my head, but they're just floating away. This is the SMSL SAP1. It used to be a $50 amp, and now it's like $100, and it's not worth $100. Do not buy the SAP1 for $100. It's the most basic bitch amp. I took it out. I set this desk up to do IMs, and I set it up with just all some new things. You got the TA20 Plus, which is the tube hybrid from X2O. I've got the own S17 like Class A amplifier. The own S9C reference DAC, which also has an amplifier. And I unmothballed, and even though it was right there, it was basically in mothballs, the Singzer SA1 Class A full balance headphone amplifier. And I'm using these as, these are good tests of things. I know this one specifically and where the power should end. I got the Quest Dial CMA15 over here. It's actually feeding the QES, which cannot power these. Even with the higher output, the QES cannot power these because these planars are a bit needy. Now, I'm at 60 out of 100 on high gain on the S17. I'm at 85 out of 100 on the TA20 Plus, and I'm at like I'd say that's like 85% on the volume knob on the Singzer. So a bit hard to drive, but you know, some planars just are. And once you figure, I can even run these at maximum on the SAP one. Like if I just nail it to the top through the standard 1/4 inch output, it will go. But we're gonna focus on this either on the Quest dial, because current mode, baby. Oh, by the Quest dial is about 2 o'clock or 2:30 on the volume knob to make that do the go. I didn't try it with the different bias. Hold on. Because I noticed something. The Singzer has the high and low Z switch. And usually that is so you could see high impedance, low impedance. And sometimes it makes a difference. On these headphones, it makes a huge difference. The sound changes entirely when you switch from high Z to low Z. So let's see if I put on Evil Dead, which is actually building the Death Coaster, which means Army of Darkness. Do, 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 do. Nope. Bias control is not doing much over there. Let's bring this back over here. I think my favorite amplifier so far has probably been, if you can tube a planar, and this is a hybrid tube, but the X-Duo hybrid tubes are like the best things for putting a planar onto. This is a very gentle planar. It doesn't want to kill me. Like, if the Venus is like a reference point at $600, because these, by the way, I forgot to say the price, $550. $550 for that look and this build and those pads with a planar. You need the rest of your budget to buy an amplifier if you don't have one that's can push, but Paganini. Fucking Paganini, which I could do this now. To show off what's playing, I have the knob and the speakers. This is... I said it the last time I reviewed an SJY product. I said I didn't treat it like it was a real headphone until whatever that was. You guys, or the other version of this wasn't quite as finished. These are a real headphone. These really compete with real things from real manufacturers. And this even more so. Because I feel the build and how much more comfortable it is. And then once you can power it, which is not like it's impossible. This is the only one that's giving me like a no, like fuck off, don't try to power on me. But once you can get these going, like I said, if you don't know, sound demos, I do sound demos in this channel. They used to be public on YouTube, but YouTube has, what's the fucking word? Asshole lawyers. Well, no, asshole lawyers exist and YouTube exists. And asshole lawyers tell YouTube, we're going to sue you unless you give us money for the music that, even though someone's just playing 12 seconds of it. So I stopped putting my sound demos on YouTube. They're only available now to patrons and subscribers. That's kind of sad because you only get about 300 views, 400 views with the number of patrons. But at the same time, I get to play anything I fucking want because they're privately hosted and copyright free and all that shit. I'm adding a third. I'm adding this Paganini to the tests. There's just... They expose music. They expose themselves like a hobo at a mall. They just say, woo, and then you just hear Paganini clearer than you've ever heard it in this price range on a low-end planar. I wouldn't say low-end planar, but like, we're talking about like Abyss and Susvara and like Modhouse Tungsten. Then this would be like $500, $550. That's barely above like the what's the cheapest you can get a planar that's like decent? 250, 300. So we're just barely out of that like that budget range. I mean, 550 might be the highest budget any of you will ever spend on a fucking headphone. But I think the people who are interested in this are probably going to be people who have 3 or 4 headphones lined up already that are just like, you know what? Today's Tuesday. I will drink my tea with my pinky up and listen to my SJY Moonlights. But that's an affordable goal. You could make this your last headphone, and it's not like, well, you got to have this, but you also got to have something else for when you really, because it does everything beautifully. It sounds beautiful. It sounds all right. Into the actual how I would describe the sound, because I rewatch these videos after I make them, and sometimes it feels like I've been fucking smoking crack all weekend and I can't speak afterwards. But this is like a rich sound. It's like when you have dark coffee and then melt like a chocolate bar in it. And it's like, oh damn, this is like rich. I know that's a terrible description because none of you know what the fuck that's like, although you can just go get some coffee and melt a chocolate bar into it, drink it, and go to all my music to... Yes. Yes, I do. It doesn't sound like it's exposing all the failures in the music. That's another thing. I actually had a friend come over and listen to the Tungstens yesterday. The Tungstens, Modhouse Tungstens, are what I consider one of the best headphones in the world, maybe ever. And he didn't like it because he was listening to his music on his Bluetooth on his phone. And then he listened to like my modified headphones that are hopefully going to be my collab headphones. Like, I like these more because the bass is banging. And I'm like, okay, you're focusing on different things. These are chill. These make might be why I'm adding songs to for the sound demo playlist, because it's hiding flaws that would otherwise be just blindingly apparent. And frankly, the world needs a headphone that does that, because if you've listened to modern music, shit is chock full of flaws. There's some good recordings, don't get me wrong. But I'd say if I'm just yelling at Spotify to play me some fucking house music or play me something acoustical, most of it doesn't cut the mustard that it needs to cut. And then when you put good recordings through these, they don't hide the good. They don't like knock the good down so that everything is the same amount of whatever. It's like, oh, well, the TJ and the Shondells is a bad recording. Just... That's painful in my headphones a little bit, but it's like, it's not a good recording, but I could still listen to it without it being like shrill and back me the fuck up and throw these headphones away. When Kermit and Fozzie start singing, the imaging, I will say, feels a little bit forced. I don't know if that's a word for it, but I have very clear left and very clear right, and the center image of them singing is fine, but it doesn't feel like it's the most resolving imaging wise. But that might be part of the reason why I like them so much. It's just delivering like a sound bubble that your head's in, and it isn't designed to be like massively detailed and you're like, oh my god, I can hear everything that's going on. It's like, I just want to hear the music and fucking relax, man. Ion Singularity. Let's put this in the class here. That's actually too loud. Yeah, I just want to like nod my head, not head bang, just sort of like groove with the music. These are very groove with the music. Just want to groove. That, by the way, was Outcast Vibrate, in case you wanted to know. Yeah, no, these do a wonderful thing with sound, and I think if this is his sound signature that he's been searching for, he's finally achieved it. Because he wants to bring you all the music, but without all the fucking annoyance. Do they have rolled off highs? No, because I've hit some songs here that still get like kind of too close to the edge, so they're not rolling off the highs. I think the concentration here was sort of more of like a soundstage. He's going for like this width, this ball. It's like bigger ball than most. Because even tungstens are like in there, but they do in there so well that I throw over the fucking other headphone away. By the way, Tungsten Review is available to my patrons and subscribers only there because they're only being sold in private auctions and private sales right now until he has enough funding to actually produce them regularly. So if you'd like to see the review of the tungstens that I'm keep mentioning, you have to be a patron, essentially. But these, well, you're fucking looking at it, baby. I didn't know when we started with this that they would eventually get to actually have the whole bin of them over there of like the ones with replaceable things. And he's like, no, I'm going to do a close back with the wood, and I'm going to get the wood and the, oh my wood. Even at this level, this wood is like, I think he told me, and he didn't tell me in confidence, it's not a secret, like he obviously doesn't go to the forest and cut down the trees and then does all the, he weighs like over $100 a set to get the wood like this. And then I don't know what he did with the painting. Like I think he said he did that himself. Like this is a man who's, he wants to go and make headphones for a living. And if you dedicate your life hard enough, you can make your dreams come true. And this is the pudding that's got all the proof mixed in with it. That if you just keep hammering at a thing, because I mean, one of the issues was he like brought out his first headphone, and then before this one even shipped, he already had designed a second headphone, and there's like then the third and the fourth and the close back, and it's finally getting to the point now where this might be the headphone that everyone buys, where you can take a break for a year or 2 years, just sell the Moonlight, just focus on it, get it down. I don't know how much he's making at only $550. It feels like he's pricing these too low. It feels like for what it is, even if it's a handmade unit, like you've put so much effort into it that I feel like, I hope he sells 1,000 of these. Because even at 1,000 of them, I don't think that he deserves more than that. Because he's done so much to bring it from this, now be it a monstrosity with the 3D prints that were just 3D prints, and to this level of refinement and sound. I hesitate to even plug these in anymore because they were all right, but they were like, all right, this guy's making some headphones. It's kind of cute. To the fucking like his essential end. I don't want to say end game because, you know, there's always something next year, but certainly fucking worth looking at if you're an audiophile. Just don't discard it because you've never heard of it. You've heard of it now. There'll be a HiFiGuides post in the description. Future Zeos do. Anyway, I got to go actually do the sound demo for this so that you guys have a reason to join the Patreon and subscribe star to access the hidden sound demos so you can enjoy them along with me. Enjoy them with me. Also, wallpapers in the wallpaper horde. Someone make sure to tell me that works because it's been a while since anyone actually confirmed that it works. Because, I mean, there's over 2.5 gigs of wallpapers that I've used throughout the years, and you can get all those in the description with Resilio Sync. I'm done. I've already told you about Patreon and subscribe, but follow us a month, see reviews early like this, participate in yard sales. I haven't sold any of his headphones because I want to keep track of them. I want to be able to pull out there's even more. I can't fit them on the fucking desk. I want to keep track. I want to have a wall at some point where I just put them all up, SJY through the years, and just it'll be beautiful. It'll be the most amazing like living history timeline you've ever hit. Just pull it off. Yeah, what was I saying? See reviews early, participate in yard sales. 1st to the 10th of every month, I sell a bunch of shit that I'm done reviewing with, or that I'm just done and got to get things off the wall so I can replace it. Like, what would I take off the wall to put this on the wall? These are the thoughts that I have to have now. Anyway, so yard sales, and then sound demos, and then for $10 a month, you get in the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat, which you ask me questions directly. Actually, I think Jeffrey might be in there. The creator of these might be in the Patreon chat, because it's a smart business decision. If you're a lone wolf creator, you want to dig into this community, jump in the Patreon chat. See what the fuck's going on in there. You can count that as bribery. He pays you $10 a month, Zeos. Bribery. Trust me, if 100 people buy this and it sucks, I get the brunt of that. More than he does. So I got to give you the honest truth about what the fuck's going on and how far we've come. So also, if you're in the $10 chat, you can ask me questions, and you get into a lifetime swap meet channel to buy, sell, and trade gear. So if you bought one of his older models and you're like, you know what, I want to upgrade, you could sell those in there, and you never get kicked out of that. You're in that for life. So I'm done. You're done. We're done. Checking the time on this. 24 minutes. Worth it.